On today's show, we visit Plymouth Memorial Hall and hear original poetry from Elaine Sorrentino and Marilyn Gove.
And if you're looking to learn or just have some fun, we'll also be talking about classes, programs, and upcoming things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started. We went on the local scene to the Hall of Flags at Memorial Hall in Plymouth.
Hi, my name's Joe Goldberg, and I've been the project manager for this project for the Hall of Flags. I'm also the facility and event director for Plymouth Memorial Hall.
My name is Roxanne Whitbeck. I'm the Director of Veteran Services for the town of Plymouth. The importance of this ceremony today is to dedicate this beautiful space that's been refurbished, and the floors are redone and the carpets are redone, and it just highlights the what we're trying to do here with the dedication to our fallen heroes. So I just think it's the one last thing we could do to pay them respect. So I'm very proud of this, and I was at the dedication. The original dedication for the fallen was in 2013, July 3rd. This one for the Vietnam vets was July 3rd of 2014.
What we added to it is we added bigger TVs, more information to the public. One of the key pieces was the QR codes. When people come in, they don't just see a uniform anymore. If they use their phone to the QR code, a video that was done by the local scene pops up for people to actually see who that person was and hear from the family members the sacrifice that really was caused for this town.
I think it's a one-of-a-kind dedication because the uniforms that you see here are decorated with all the awards and insignia that these men were entitled to. I think it's a one-of-a-kind display here because it's the actual uniforms on our fallen.
What this space means to the community and those who've served is that I've always believed that Memorial Hall is the heartbeat of the town of Plymouth. Whether you graduated, whether you came to a show, participated in a town program, it always came back here. But when you come into Memorial Hall, the first thing you come into is the Hall of Flags. And it's a reminder of those who paid a cost price for the freedom that we reserve. We are America's hometown, and the men and women who cost their lives for our freedom, we display who they are, what they did, and what they really mean for our community. So people coming into Memorial Hall will see the uniforms or memorabilia that belong to their uncles, their dads, their grandfathers, their aunts, someone in their family. So this means a lot to them because each person comes through, it's someone they're related to.
This space to me as a veteran personally, it means very, very much to me. It's a tribute to my fallen brothers and sisters. I didn't serve with them. I was very fortunate in the times that I served, but it means so very much to me to be part of this project and to be a 13-year Navy veteran myself.
What this hall means to me as a veteran, it actually goes deeper than what I am. It goes back to my dad. My dad migrated, he was an immigrant who came to America, wanted to become a US citizen, and he joined the Navy. He spent 2 years, 10 months, and 11 days on a riverboat in Vietnam so that he could become a US citizen. So when I joined the military, it was because I wanted to honor my dad and serve the country that he loved. So when I come through here, it reminds me, the uniforms, the hearing the stories, the memorabilia, it reminds me of the cost that was paid for the freedom that not only I have, but my grandchildren have, and my children have, and what my dad did. So it's a personal, it's not just a hall. It means something to me. It belongs to me, it belongs to my family, and it belongs to this community. If you haven't visited Memorial Hall, then you need to. When you walk through the doors, you go into the museum, you see the artifacts, you see the videos, you see all the things that shows Plymouth the cost that was paid for them. That's what it means. You need to come in and experience it. It's an experience that you have to be here to feel it.
Invite the public to come down and see this one-of-a-kind display because you won't be disappointed.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for all coming today. My name is Derek Brindisi. town manager here in Plymouth. Again, thank you for coming for this ribbon cutting ceremony for the Hall of Flags. Before we begin, I would just like to recognize a number of elected officials here in the room today. Representing Congressman Keating's office, Mike Jackman, thank you for coming today. We have a number of state officials here today. Representing Rep. Lenacha's office, Chris Jean is here today. Representative Miraturi is here with us today. And new Senator-elect Dylan Fernandez, thank you for coming. Thank you for crossing the bridge this afternoon. We appreciate that. Additionally, we have a number of selectmen here today as well. We have our chairman, Mr. Dick Quintal, here today. Select Board Member Charlie Bletzer and Select Board Member David Golden are here as well. And so again, thank you all for coming today. And we have a number of veterans that are here in the room. And so thank you for coming out. This space is probably one of the most important spaces for our veterans as a place to kind of remember, a number of our fallen soldiers, airmen, seamen, and the like. So again, to all the veterans, thank you for being here today. So just to kind of give us a little perspective on why we've reconvened in this space today, there was a grant that was applied for by the Department of Health and Human Services and the leadership of Michelle Brady, who's our Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Joe Goldberg, who's our Memorial Hall Facilities Director, and then Roxanne Whitbeck, who is our Veterans Agent, who I think you all know here in this room. Collectively working with our grant writer, Tiffany Park, they recognize that this space could use some improvements. Like many of the other areas around town, we've been trying to focus on areas that may have been neglected for various reasons, maybe resource reasons. And so they applied for a grant to the Veterans Heritage Grant Program and received a $15,000 grant and then received matching funds or an additional $15,000 from the town of Plymouth. So collectively, a $30,000 grant, we've been able to improve space, this area here, known as the Hall of Flags. So you look around the room, I hope you've all had the opportunity to, one, look at some of our Plymouthians who have fallen, who have served this country in various conflicts throughout the past century. And so it gives you the opportunity to reflect on those who sacrifice all. And so, some of the improvements that have been made, brand new lighting, the paint job is brand new, we have a new carpet, LED lights, those monitors are brand new. We didn't have those monitors in the past. And so, again, this is just a facelift that if you were here, say, 6 months ago, what you would have noticed when you walked through the front doors, that our floors, right in the middle there, they were buckled. And so, again, this is kind of phase one of a long-term plan to improve Memorial Hall as a whole. But we wanted to give it its just deserve and recognize the work of our Department of Health and Human Services and our grant team in order to make this a reality. So without further ado, that's kind of the history of why we're here today. And we have a number of folks that would love to recognize the effort that was put into this space. So the first person I'd like to call to the podium is Mr. Dick Quintal, who's the chairman of the Select Board. Mr. Quintal.
Thank you, Derek, and welcome everyone. Just going to go over a few dates and points of interest here. Memorial Hall, construction post-World War I between 1924 and 1925. Listed within the Mass Registry of Historic Places, opened in 1926. Allows veterans to gather, remember, and support, and be honored. Memorial Hall also serves as Plymouth's cultural civic facility with a 1,500-seat auditorium, numerous community, cultural, educational, and governmental events take place here. The Hall of Flags, the central exhibit displayed prominently within the interior corridor of the Memorial Hall. Includes a collection of historical artifacts, photos, and displays, including uniforms of Plymouth's fallen heroes. Exhibit and assembled to volunteers and dedicated to Plymouth citizens who gave their lives serving the country, as Derek touched on also. Replacement of the display cases needed to modernize secured units, shatter-resistant glass, humidity control, preservation-grade LED lighting, UV protection, repair of the ceiling, plaster, columns, and paint. Enhancements of the way of the collection is shared with its visitors. Installed 2 new digital display boards, which Derek also touched on, and the virtual tour of the collection. Thank you all for attending today.
Thank you, Chairman Quinto. So now before Representative Muratori approaches the podium, I want to publicly thank Rep. Muratori for his service to Plymouth over the many decades, first as a select board member and then as a state rep. We will miss you. Your advocacy at the State House will be certainly missed, and looking forward to work with you and whatever you choose to do in your future endeavors. So this perhaps could be your last time presenting. I don't know, unless Casey has more ribbon cuttings or groundbreakings. I feel like we've been doing this once a week. But before your term ends, we'd like to call you to the podium one more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you so much. Thank you to the board. Michelle and Roxanne, what a great job you've done here. I'm really proud to be here on behalf of the delegation, which includes Representative Lenatra, who could not be here today, or Senator Moran, who couldn't be here, but we do have our new state Senator-elect, Dylan Fernandez. Thank you for showing up here today and being part of the community. We just met for a couple hours and kind of talked about Plymouth and the wonderful things about Plymouth, and 2 hours wasn't enough to talk about all the good things that go on in Plymouth, and this is just one of them. This is what we do here in Plymouth. We take something that we look at, say, we need to do something. We need to do a facelift. We got to figure out, and we work together and we partner together. And we were so proud as a delegation to be small part about that grant that came through the Secretary of State's office to help out with this. This is a focal point of this Memorial Hall, and it's needed a facelift for quite some time now. So I'm glad to hear that it's on your radar screen. And this is a great start to that, and I can't wait to see what happens down here as well. So thank you, and congratulations once again for what you've done here.
Thank you, Representative Muratori. So the next speaker is Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Michelle Brady. But before we begin, I just want to let a few folks know Commissioner Brady is the first Commissioner of Health and Human Services in the town's history. This department was reorganized by the Select Board about almost 18 months ago now, I think. Ms. Brady's been on the job. So the work that department is doing is amazing. And if you don't realize it, you should pay attention. They're going to launch their first community health assessment in a couple months. They've delivered over $250,000 worth of mitigation dollars for fatal and non-fatal overdoses this past year. And then, as you'll hear today, leading the efforts to revitalize and renovate this beautiful structure. So without further ado, Ms. Brady, thank you.
Thank you so much, Town Manager Brindisi. Thank you. I have nothing prepared, and I did that on purpose, because what you feel in this room and what you see around you was built on history and heart and the devotion of our veterans. I am here today to thank all of you veterans and to thank Joe Goldberg and Roxanne Whitback, who put their heart and lead with their heart. Joe Goldberg runs Memorial Hall, but the heart that he put into making sure that veterans' voices were heard on this project. My first week on the job, I was walking through Stop and Shop, true story, grocery shopping. My phone rang. Silly, I answered it, and it was a veteran. What are you doing at Memorial Hall and why? Let me put my oranges down and let's talk. But it matters to this community. It matters to you, and therefore, it matters to us. Without the two individuals sitting at the end of this front row, this doesn't happen, veteran needs aren't met, and this community does not lead this beautiful, beautiful Hall of Flags without heart. So thank you, Roxanne and Joe, for everything you do. You are the heartbeat of Plymouth. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And you're exactly right. Joe has really led the improvements, the revitalization of this hall, not just in the physical infrastructure, but come down here and on a Saturday night, that man is working. Come down here on a Friday night or a Sunday afternoon, that man is working, maintaining this building, recruiting events that are appropriate for what we want to see here in town, not just any event. So Joe, thank you for your work. And to my left over here is Mr. Carl Anderson. He's our facilities director. Those two individuals together are going to make this building, a 21st century entertainment venue that we haven't seen in the South Shore in, I would say, decades. So we're looking forward to the work that you do. And Joe, why don't you come up here and say a few words? Thank you.
I just want to thank a few people. State Representative Matt Moratori, thank you for the hard work you did in helping us. It was just a couple of years ago. I remember we had a luncheon upstairs, and I brought you and Kathy down, and just showing the state of the hall and where we were then and where we brought it today. It was just incredible. So thank you for allowing us to partner with that. I want to thank Tiffany Parks. Tiffany was the one who reached out to me and said, "Hey, Joe, we have this opportunity for a grant. Let's see if we can get it." And so she really helped me put the paperwork together. The first time I ever did anything like that. And then once everything was approved, Carl Anderson, I mean, I can't say enough about this gentleman. When we were falling short of what we needed for additional fundings to see this project to its completion, Carl found it. It was Carl's staff that really led the charge in helping me pack everything up appropriately, bringing it all back out, making sure it was cared for while everything was in storage for the last 6 months or so while we were doing this project. I want to thank Roxanne for her guidance through all of this. When we started, if you notice, there's some QR codes here. If you use those QR codes with your phone, a video will come up and will tell you a story about who that person was by their family members. And so Roxanne really helped me coordinate that effort with the local scene to create these videos and getting them online and getting them to the public. I have a great picture. Just the other day we had, this past week we had 4 shows. We have another 4 shows coming up. And a gentleman came in and he was looking at the mannequins, and I said, "Hey, did you know if you use the QR code, it'll tell you about that?" And so the gentleman pulled out his phone, he pulled up the video, and within 30 seconds he was in tears. And it was heartwarming to me because what would have been just a uniform on a mannequin became a person. And that leads me into my next piece, is why Memorial Hall and this Hall of Flags is important to me. And the old saying is, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I love what I do. I am so blessed to be a part of this hall. To know a little bit about my story, and my grandkids are here today. My dad immigrated to this country and wanted to be a U.S. citizen so bad that he joined the Navy and served 2 years, 10 months, and 11 days on a riverboat in Vietnam, just so he could become a U.S. citizen. And so I joined the military to honor my dad. And so when I see my granddaughter and grandson sitting here today, it reminds me just how important this hall is. It's not just a building, it's not just a hallway, it's not just a uniform. There are people behind these things, and there are people are related to everyone in this community. When someone's grandchild or brother or sister or aunt or uncle, someone walks through those doors to come in and, "Hey, I'm gonna go see a show at Memorial Hall," they're instantly met with memories of someone that they loved or were connected to them that paid such costly a price for the freedom that we all have today. And that's what Memorial Hall means to me. And to be here and see you guys be a part of it is just, I can't speak enough for it. And especially seeing my grandkids here, that means the world to me. So thank you, and thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Joe. And Joe, I do think maybe some of that extra money came from Kyle because he's biased. Kyle, Navy veteran or Coast Guard veteran? I always mix it. So he's a veteran, so he probably he's a little biased in trying to help you out more than he typically would. You know, and Joe, you're correct. So Mr. Hedge and I and Rep. Trey were talking earlier. We were just talking about kind of veterans and the perception of veterans, you know, over the last century. You know, this hall was built for World War I veterans, and you think about how veterans were mistreated after the Vietnam era, right? And here we are again. You know, I think we're back on top. Veterans are getting the services that they need and the respect and dignity they deserve. One of our veterans, Roxanne Whitbeck, is leading that effort here in this community. I say we have the perfect trifecta now in Plymouth. We have the VA clinic on Long Pond Road. Now we have Volunteers of America right over here, downtown Plymouth. And then we have our veterans agent who's been doing work in this town for 17 years? 17 years, yeah. So for a very long time, and everybody knows, all the veterans in this community know who Roxanne is. So Roxanne, please approach the podium and share with us everything that's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. This rededication, rebeautification of our one-of-a-kind hall is absolutely just amazing. The QR codes that were spoken of today are from the families of our fallen heroes. It's an ongoing project, so we are anticipating that we are going to have more of them. Some of them haven't been feeling well, but we're gonna get their story down as well. But it's so moving to hear the stories of our fallen heroes from the ones that loved them and knew them best. Veteran Services was honored to dedicate this hall to our fallen heroes that were killed in action after 9/11. The dedication of the hall took place on July 3rd of 2013. The ceremony consisted of unveiling the uniforms worn by Plymouth's fallen heroes. It showcases the awards and insignia specific to each of them. Army National Guard Sergeant First Class Robert Rooney, killed in action September 25th, 2003 in Kuwait. Marine Lance Corporal Jeffrey Burgess, killed in action March 25th, 2004 in Fallujah, Iraq. Army First Class Kevin King, killed in action in a training accident, getting ready to head over to Iraq. He was killed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky on April 18th of 2007. Army Sergeant Benjamin Sherman, killed in action November 4th, 2009 in Western Afghanistan. Army National Guard Staff Sergeant Matt Pacino, killed in action November 23rd, 2009 in Afghanistan. Army Specialist Stephen Gutowski, killed in action September 28th, 2011 in Afghanistan. Veteran Services and the Vietnam Veterans Committee for the Fallen also co-hosted a dedication of that part of the hall to our Vietnam War heroes. That ceremony was held July 3rd of 2014. The following servicemen were honored. Staff Sergeant Frederick Garside, U.S. Air Force, killed in action November 16th, 1961, killed in Laos. Specialist 5, Robert Hedge, U.S. Army, killed in action February 26, 1968 in Ben Hoa. Lance Corporal Wayne Moore, U.S. Marine Corps, March 30th, 1968, Quan Tri. And last but not least, HM3 Paul Resens, U.S. Navy, June 18th, 1969. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say their names. Their service and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. And I actually think I'm going to end my comments there because what Roxanne just read is exactly the reason why we're here this afternoon. So thank you, Roxanne, for reading those names. So that ends the speaking portion of today's event. Those of you that are prepared to cut the ribbon, please walk forward. And after we cut the ribbon, any veteran in this room, I'd love to get a group photo. If all veterans can gather, and we'll do one big group photo for all veterans. Thank you.
3, 2, 1.
Memorial Hall is located at 83 Court Street, Plymouth.
Celebrate the top of the morning at the Duxbury Senior Center with Irish music and brunch on Friday, March 21st. Breakfast starts at 9 a.m. with Irish Eggs Benedict, the classic dish served with a St. Patrick's Day twist. Corned beef replaces the traditional Canadian bacon. Starting at 9:30, along with your delicious St. Patty's breakfast, you can also enjoy some Celtic sounds performed by Stuart Peake, a musician known for his skills on the tin whistle and banjo. Registration is open now for St. Patrick's Brunch and Irish music through the Senior Center's website or by calling 781-934-5774, extension 5703. The cost is only $5 per person.
Wigs and jigs, reels and hornpipes. Get your green on and join the Pembroke Community Center on Monday, March 10th at 5 p.m. to welcome the Petrocelli Academy of Irish Dance for a free Irish step performance. Originating in Ireland, this cultural folk dance is exciting to watch, featuring elaborate costumes, complex footwork, and the traditional rigidity of the dancer's upper body. Start your St. Patrick's Day celebration early with this free event. RSVP by calling 781-294-8220. The Community Center is located at 128 Center Street.
Next up is poet Elaine Sorrentino with a reading of her original work.
Hi, I'm Elaine Sorrentino. I am part of the Duxbury Poetry Circle. Better? The first piece I'm going to read is about lying by omission. It's called Irish Twins. When folks inquire about my children, I tell them I was 27 when I had my first, 29 when I had my second. This is not the whole story. I failed to share their birthdays are 7 weeks apart, or that my birthday is sandwiched in the middle, because 2 years is a more respectable gap than 13 months and 3 weeks. I omit the part about passion born out of our Red Sox in the '86 World Series. The excitement of witnessing victory after victory, interrupted when Billy Buckner and Mother Nature surprised us both. The second piece is about my vacation preferences. It's called This, Not That. If vacation time is finite, I choose not to squander it on asphalt, seeking sanctuary away from the hand of man. I'll take the airy wail of the loon over the ding-ding-ding of arcade rooms, hammering turnstiles, roller coaster riders shrieking with fear and glee. I prefer the racket of flapping wings on water, where the penguin dance. Back off. I'll take the sun's day-ending game of hide and seek, its splashy light show as it disappears over the Berkshires or behind Old Situate Lighthouse. I welcome the screech of an owl, ripple of a brook, even the boom of thunder. Let me explore creation without the price of admission. Awaken my senses, quiet my mind. Paddle, pedal, or hike, then sit back and marvel without purpose or schedule. Thank you.
The significant contributions women have made to American history, culture, and society are highlighted nationally through the month of March, Women's History Month. Join authors Emily Franklin, Dawn Tripp, and Adele Waldman at the Kingston Public Library on Sunday, March 23rd at 2 p.m. for an hour-long panel discussion about the resolute and uncompromising women featured in each of their novels. The Lioness of Boston, Emily Franklin's 2023 novel about Victorian-era philanthropist and art collector Isabella Stewart Gardner, continues to be a lauded bestseller. Dawn Tripp is the author of Georgia, a fictionalized tale about Georgia O'Keeffe that was a finalist for the New England Book Award and winner of the Mary Lynn Kotz Award for Art in Literature. Panelist Adele Waldman's writing has appeared in numerous publications, including The New Yorker, The New York Times, The New York Times Book Review, The Wall Street Journal, and Slate. Help Wanted, her latest book, was inspired by her experience working at a big box store, unloading big boxes. Don't miss this free panel discussion made possible through the generous sponsorship of the Kingston Public Library Foundation. Books will be available for purchase after the event.
For wordsmiths looking for creativity and community, the Wednesday Writing Group at the Plymouth Public Library meets every other Wednesday and provides a space to write, hone your skills, and share the experience with others. All you need to bring is your creativity and whatever you prefer to write with, be it a laptop or a spiral-bound notebook, and your favorite pen. There'll be creative writing prompts available if you need an inspirational tool to get you on the right track. The group meets bi-weekly in the boardroom of the library from 6 to 8 p.m., with this month's meeting being on March 5th and 19th.
Historian Patrick Brown will be at the Duxbury Free Library on March 25th for Tea, Tories, and the Almost Battle of Marshfield, a talk exploring the festering tensions in this area fueled by resistance to British rule. This focused look at Revolutionary War history will provide a nuanced historical snapshot of the precarious balance of loyalties as they varied from town to town and person to person on the South Shore. Learn about Marshfield's loyalty to the Crown, their request for British troops to support them, and how the dynamics between local patriots and loyalists culminated in a near skirmish between British forces and local militia. This event starts at 6:30 p.m. and can be attended in person at the Duxbury Free Library or online. Register for the online webinar through the Alden House website.
Give your kids the opportunity to let their creativity run wild the last Thursday of the month at the family-friendly Kids Club Craft at the Kingston Collection. From 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in the food court near Regal Cinemas, tables will be set up with all the supplies little artists need to come and enjoy a fun-filled time creating seasonal-themed projects with other kid crafters. Not only will they be making art, but they will be making memories as well. Kids Club Craft is always free to attend, and the next one is Thursday, March 20th.
Derived from the Greek word ekphrasis, meaning description or interpretation, ekphrastic poetry celebrates, describes, and responds to a work of art. Next up, we head to the Plymouth Center for the Arts, where poet Marilyn Gove reads her original ekphrastic poem.
Going to bring it down about 2 feet. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. There were so many paintings and photographs, sculptures, and the one you see before you is the one that resonated most with me. And I think that if you know me, really know me, then at the core, this is who I believe I am. Inspired to imagine and to be creative and always kind of live outside the lines that somebody has drawn for us. The name of the painting is Hold On to Your Dreams, and I don't know if the artist is here. Can I see you? I don't see you. Hi, is it Donna Goes or Goes? Okay, Donna Goes, there she is. Okay. Hold on to your dreams. I consider it an important matter not to listen to petty chatter, but rather dream unafraid of all I am, a brave soul willing to take a stand. Some may laugh at 3 tall boulders high atop my head, or run from my mythical friend who walks about on metal legs. I'm not just a curious soul, sporting pink-cuffed jeans and a velvet coat dyed sunlight blue and emerald green. I am the Pied Piper of dreamscapes. Come, follow me, down to the majestic blue circle sea, and rest a bit on papier-mâché rocks as I paint life glorious outside the box. Thank you.
Kurt Vonnegut advised to practice any art, no matter how well or badly, is a way to make your soul grow, so do it. The Plymouth Center for Active Living invites you to step up to the microphone to express the song you have in your heart or the poem you've been working on, or perhaps try a few jokes in front of an open and willing crowd. Open Mic Night is happening on Tuesday, March 11th, starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Plymouth Center for Active Living. It is free and open to everyone, whether you want to perform or just attend as a supportive audience member. To sign up for the time slot, contact Beth Hatfield at 508-830-4230 or email at bhatfield@plymouth-ma.gov. If you need audio for your performance, they request that you bring a CD.
Kingston's town seal was designed in 1950 to represent both the town and the rich history of artists that have lived, been inspired, and created in Kingston. The seal's designer, Helen Foster, was a Kingston native and entered the male-dominated field of commercial art design in 1922. Helen is recognized as the first woman commercial artist in the city of Boston. Learn more about the accomplished artists who have called Kingston home on March 12th, when Kingston Public Library archivist and librarian Nick Katulis presents Historic Kingston Arts and Artists at the Kingston Senior Center. The presentation starts at 1 p.m. and will include artwork depicting Kingston scenes and landmarks. Registration is required. Sign up through the Kingston COA.
The 24th annual South Shore Family Network Early Childhood Fair will be lighting up the Kingston Elementary School with exciting crafts and more on Saturday, March 8th. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, there will be fun hands-on activities and engaging playstations for kids, while parents talk to early childhood educators and community partners from all over the South Shore who will be on hand to share valuable information and resources for families and young children. Admission is free to get in, and there will be a free raffle too.
On Thursday, March 13th, the Duxbury Senior Center invites you to attend and awaken your Irish spirit at Irish Voices. This one-man show by actor and educator Stephen Collins features works by 20th century Irish authors, including Frank McCourt, William Butler Yeats, Brian O'Nolan, and the inscrutable James Joyce. Renowned harpist Jamie Joroff will deepen the experience with her melodic accompaniment to Collins' readings. Irish Voices begins at 2 p.m. Register through the Senior Center's website.
Taking tests is an often dreaded task we as humans all face. Very few people escape the process anxiety-free. Preparing young children by giving them the tools they need to ease their nerves can change their outlook on test taking. Caretakers of children ages 5 to 8 years old are invited to bring their kids down to the Pembroke Public Library on Tuesday, March 18th for tackling test anxiety. Join local author Kathleen Jeffrey for a reading of her new book, Katie's Really Bad Day. The book is about how Katie experiences extreme and disruptive anxiety before a test, and with her teacher's guidance, discovers some calming tools to ease her nerves and help her get through the task. After the reading, Kathleen will discuss methods to help calm test anxiety and answer any questions kids might have. They will also get to practice some of the methodology using breathing boards and color. This event will be in the meeting room, starts at 4 p.m., and will be an hour long. Registration is required. Sign up by using the link below or calling the library at 781-293-6771. And that, my friends, wraps up this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching.
And if you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media.
We thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
We'll be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our area. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene.
For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.